What's going on, everybody? It has been a while. I know by some of the messages that I got from some of you that you were questioning whether we were ever going to come back. Your dreams have been fulfilled, and we're back. Basically, what we did is, you all know this, things get super busy around the holiday season. You know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And basically, that's what we ran into. Things started getting busy. We went 1 week. We hadn't recorded an episode, and the next thing you know, there was another week, and so on and so forth. And so finally we said, look, let's just take a break until the first of the year. Let's get our feet back under us. Let's reevaluate the podcast. Let's see, you know, if there's anything we want to change. Basically, you know, this is kind of conversations I'm having with the cast and with myself. And let's then come back the first of the year and let's run through it like a bull in a china shop. So we have 2 episodes in the can. By in the can, I mean recorded. So what you're going to hear today is an episode that was recorded back in early November sometime. Me and Canaan recorded this one. I have another one that I actually recorded before this one that will also come out. But it looks like probably about 2 or 3 days from today, we'll be back recording brand new episodes and be hitting you with stuff every week. So I know I've missed it. I've missed talking to y'all. I've missed the whole process. It's a bit of a hobby of mine. I love it. I got some really good equipment to do it with, and I love that. I mean, it's a total hobby, and I get a lot of fulfillment from it. I feel like there's so many things I haven't told you about lately. I bought a new guitar, so yeah, I did that. But we'll get caught up. I promise. We'll get caught up. Canaan's going to be back on. Got a really good topic to go over with Missy. Apparently, she keeps getting messages from people that want to be her sugar daddy, and she's gotten a very uncomfortable amount of them. So we're going to go over some of that. I'm glad to be back. Like I said, it's full speed ahead, man. We're going to tear this baby up. So that's it. I'm done talking. Hope you enjoy this episode.
Get ready, set, go.
What's going on, Canaan?
Not a whole lot, man. What are you into?
All right, now I'm sitting talking to you.
What the-
People won't know why that's funny unless they were a part of the conversation we just had.
Yes. Which we will have to talk about it at some point in time.
Yes, we will. We'll have to get into that.
Yes, absolutely.
What have you been into, man?
Man, just work. Of course, trying to do some Christmas shopping, getting ready for the old holiday season, you know.
Oh, boy. That makes my wallet so nervous. So nervous.
Dude, oh my goodness, man. I'm going to tell you what, the older I get, the more stingy I get. I know that's not good to hear, especially when a Christian says that, but
oh, yeah.
It's true.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the exact same way. I get much more stingy, and I'll find myself like skimping money on stupid stuff. It's like I just saved 50 cents. Whoopee. You know?
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. I save money on so much stuff except for food. I don't seem to have a problem buying food, and I don't know why, because you eventually just poop it out later.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm the exact opposite because I exist on a diet of Sheetz hot dogs, which is some of the worst stuff that you could put in your body. They don't even have coleslaw for the hot dogs anymore. And in West Virginia, there seems to be a bit of an argument over it, but I always thought in West Virginia, you put coleslaw on a hot dog.
Yes, you do.
You know, they don't even offer it anymore.
They don't do that. They don't, what?
No. So you get relish that I think was made out of like, you know, pickle juice and briars. And just,
oh, man.
Oh, it's terrible. But why I get them is you can get them 2 for $1. So therefore, I'm like, man, this is delicious.
Yes. Well, it's cheap. It's good. Okay. So I should rephrase that. So here's the thing. I don't really, I don't go out to eat every day. and spend, just a lot of money on food. But like, I'll pack my lunch, and usually I'm trying to pack something a little more healthy. Well, then you go to work, and your coworker's like, "Hey, let's go to Porta, it's a Mexican restaurant." Don't mind if I do. The old
Yep.
lunch that I packed can go in the garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I have no problem with just like, now when I go there, I don't spend a ton of money, but like I went there today, I think I spent like $6 on a burrito. So it's not really expensive, but
Yeah.
I've saved money and skimp on other areas. But somebody mentions food, and I'm like, all right, where are we going? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too when you think about, how much money a person can spend eating out. Gee whiz.
Oh my goodness, dude. Before me and my wife got on a budget, one time we did a total. We went through our bank account. Of course, we weren't dealing anything. We weren't dealing in cash. We're dealing with just cards,
Mm-hmm.
and we just go swiping all the time, swipe on this, swipe on that. And so we did a total one time. I think between like food and like one other thing, I think it was like $600 in a month.
Oh boy. Woo.
Yeah. And we were just like, are you serious? Like, how in the world? And then we're like, well, no wonder we're flat busted.
Yeah.
Most of our. So once we got a budget together and actually started, tightening up on that a little bit, stopped eating out, it was amazing how much money went to the account.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that before too. And it's, man, it's outrageous when you sit and think about how much you can spend eating out. And that's if you're going someplace like McDonald's on a regular basis. You spend a lot of money.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you're going to like Applebee's or anything that is not, a ground up possum that's thrown on a grill. So then occasionally me and my wife used to go to Red Lobster, and we go there like on very rare occasions. It's usually where we go for our anniversary. We're high class people, man. Very high class. And I say that trying to make a joke because I'm too embarrassed to admit that, yes, that is considered fine dining for me.
Yeah. Hey, man, Red Lobster's good, and it's
It is
not
good.
that cheap, honestly.
No, it's not. Good Lord, it's not. You'll go there. I've went there before and spent like $80. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
$80? What the heck is this?
And for something that you will crap out.
Yeah.
And for me, in a matter of minutes.
I know. Dude, you're the crappiest dude I've ever seen in my life.
I don't need pills. I'm doing a little bit better these days.
I remember my pap used to tell me, my grandpa, he's like, Brother Phil, you might as well just take that money and throw it in the commode. It's like, if you're spending money going out to eat, he said, it's the exact same things. It just flush it down the commode.
A lot of those old timers were like that, dude. I could probably count on one hand how many times I'd known my grandma and grandpa to go out to eat.
Yeah.
It's just not very much at all. They don't do it.
Well, you can waste.
But man, if they tried some of them scallops there at Red Lobster, they'd understand.
Man.
They would understand.
I remember one time I went, and so a lot of times when I'm out at a place that requires me to spend money, I do not enjoy it because of the anxiety that I get. I'm like, I should be enjoying this. I'm spending money, so I should at least get some enjoyment from it. I can't. I just can't. And I'm exaggerating a bit, but I remember we went to Ocean City, Maryland one year for a family vacation, and they had this restaurant up there called Phillips Seafood, and it was a seafood buffet, and it wasn't like crap. Like, we're not talking about freaking Bonanza here or what's that? What, Golden Corral? We're not talking about that.
Yeah, Golden Corral, Ponderosa. Yeah.
Yeah, this was food that was better than Red Lobster, and it was all you could eat. And it was $27 a person.
Whoa.
And I remember just being like, what am I even doing? I don't recognize myself in here. And because of that, me and my two brothers-in-law, John and Kenny, we were there too. We commenced to pretty much go into a coma because we felt like, dude, we paid $27. I'm eating freaking $27 worth of this food.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way when I go to a buffet because I'll tell you what, Ponderosa and Golden Corral used to be halfway cheap, but it's not anymore. It's expensive.
No, heck no.
And I haven't been to one in, oh my goodness, I haven't been to one in forever, but I think the last time I went, it was for a birthday party they were having. And so I went there And of course, you had to buy your own food, and it was at dinner time. It was like 15 or $16 a person.
Gee,
and I think that was that was without drink, and the food was crap.
Yeah, that's the problem with buffets a lot. Yeah,
like 15 or $16 for this? You got to be kidding me. So, but no, you talking about going on vacation, and spending money, dude. I'll tell you, I love going on trips, and me and Mariah we go on probably too many. We're actually going to try to. West Virginia and Ohio will probably be about our only two destinations next year. But we have traveled so much, and we're actually getting ready to go to Florida. We're actually flying out Sunday, but I'll go on these trips, and I am such a tightwad that I'll have all this cash, on hand that we've saved up, for this trip. Well, then I start playing a game to see how much money I can bring home.
Oh yeah,
So then my trip turns into me just being a money hoarder.
Yeah.
And so would you like to go to McDonald's and grab a cheeseburger? Nope.
Then you start thinking, I could have stayed at home and done this.
Yes, exactly. It's so true. It's so true. You're just in better scenery. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But,
yeah, I remember when you're a kid, like mom would be like, we're going to Gatlinburg. And I'm like, heck yeah. And then as an adult when you're in that like halfway point, like, yeah, I want to go to Gatlinburg or just some vacation destination. And you realize it has lost all of its luster since I was a little kid. It is no longer enjoyable because I'm too cheap.
Yes. No, it's true. It's true.
Do you ever get buyer's remorse?
Oh my goodness. Do I ever? Dude, I was on vacation, I was on vacation in Branson, Missouri. This past May, and I bought these fishing shoes. Of course, I'm not even a fisherman, but anyway, so I buy these fishing shoes at Columbia. In case
you got to run away from that fish.
Exactly right, man. It's that Jonah and Wells situation. So I bought these. They're Columbia's, and I think the fishing brand is it PFG or P8? What would you know which brand I'm talking about?
I'm trying to think here. Oh, yeah, it's Columbia. Yeah, because I think it stands for like performance fishing gear or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got one of their hats around here somewhere.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Nice gear. I like their stuff.
It's real good stuff.
Well, I got these shoes. I actually went in to buy me a pair of Hey Dudes because I've been hearing about how comfortable they are and stuff. So I go in to buy those. Well, then the salesman talked me into these shoes here. Well, they're like $20 more than Hey Dudes, and Hey Dudes aren't real cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And Simran's like, man, get them. We're fine. We got plenty of money. We're on vacation. Just enjoy it. I was like, all right. So I buy them. I take them back to the room. Don't take the tags off of them. The next morning, I am searching for the receipt so I can take it back. And I still can't find that receipt. Oh, man. So, yes, I get buyer's remorse so bad, man. Dude, cars, when I buy a car, if it's clothing, if it's a tool, anything.
With cars, I almost have a stroke after buying one. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I can have set and ran the numbers for 6 months ahead of time, been like, I can afford this car. And as soon as I drive off, I'm like, what if I get fired tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the big fear. It always hangs over my head.
Well, I honestly had that thought today. I think I was leaving work in my old Jeep, and I thought, Canaan, you ought to just go and get yourself a new vehicle. Or not a new vehicle, but something new to you. Just, get you a small payment on a nice little vehicle, nice little truck or something. And I thought, what if I get fired? Or what if my company goes belly up? What if the economy drops out because of old brother Joe Biden?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the same thoughts I always had. Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I'll just keep driving the Jeep.
Yeah.
It's fine. Then I went down to go to the gas station to get some snacks, and it wouldn't hardly start. And I'm like, okay, I might have to.
I guess Joe Biden ain't so bad.
Yeah, Joe Biden's just fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get that, and it doesn't matter if it's a large purchase like a car, or I've bought a motorcycle in the past, things like that. It doesn't matter if it's something that big, or if it's like a $20 flashlight. Like I'll go, a lot of times you go out on Saturday. We just had a Bass Pro Shops open in Morgantown, just not too far from where I'm at right now. And so you go there, spend a Saturday pretty much. Like we're going to hit usually we've got this circuit of stores, and used to we had to go to Wheeling if we wanted to go to a Cabela's.
Yeah.
So I'd usually stop at like, you'd go, we'd stop at, what's that one there in Washington? I think they got like a Sportsman's Warehouse. So we usually stop there. It's usually a Harbor Freight around somewhere, and then, make the loop. There's a Western shop in Little Washington, and then you make the loop, go up to Cabela's and come back. But so when I'm out on a trip like that, and if I do spend like $30, like the other day, me and John went to the new Bass Pro. It's the first time I'd been there. I bought like a $30 knife, which I love knives, by the way. So it was the one I showed you. It's that SOG. It's their field knife. Yes. $30, wonderful knife, freaking lifetime warranty. And I felt like I had just killed a small child.
Oh, yeah.
After I bought it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. It doesn't matter how much it is. I usually will walk away feeling like I should probably take it back because I need the $30.
Yeah. It's like, what if I need 30? And it's not been very often that I've come down to $30 is going to keep me from eating or not. In fact, I don't think it's ever happened to me. But
never happened.
Your mind is always like, this might be the time.
Yeah, it's true. How did we get so tight? Was it because we grew up poor? I mean, I know I did.
I mean, it could be. Yeah, I grew up fairly poor. I don't think I was quite as bad off as you've told me that you were. But yeah, I was
thanks, Phil. I appreciate you for making me just feel this big. No, I'm just...
You freaking pauper, you.
Yeah. No.
Well, I was sitting over there eating actual hamburger helper.
I was just eating the helper. No, you're right. We were pretty bad off, and so I think that's where a lot of mine stems from is I like knowing that I have plenty of money in the bank. I like knowing that I'm secure, and because let's just face it, I wasn't real secure when I was younger. So
yeah, I was the same way, and I've got some weird tendencies too. And I've kind of been almost anti-name brand ever since I was a little kid, because Mom would be like, she'd tell me, she's like, look, name brand stuff costs money, a lot of money, and you don't need name brand stuff. So for somehow it just kind of stuck with me. And so to this day, I will go to Walmart and buy their, $11 pair of Rustler, not even Wrangler, Rustler jeans that the crotch will rip out of them at a moment's notice.
Oh,
dude, I've done that like twice at work. You go to throw your leg up there and get up on the back of a 1-ton pickup, and next thing you know, you threw out more than your leg.
You threw out the. It comes flying out in a rage. Oh, man.
Yeah, but I'll still do it. And when I was a kid, I always had this thing with batteries. I was afraid if I had a toy that took batteries, I was afraid to play with it because I was afraid the batteries were going to run out. And I don't know why. And Mom and my brother still make fun of me to this day because like most of my flashlights that I use are rechargeable to this day because I don't have to buy batteries.
I don't blame you. I like the rechargeable flashlights.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess it was because I knew batteries cost money, and what if something happened I couldn't get batteries, or I don't know exactly what played into it, but still, that kind of hangs around to this day.
I went through a phase there for a while where I was about the name brand, but I'm actually, the older I get, the more I'm kind of moving away from that. So yeah,
I think I've moved a little closer to name brand stuff over the past few years because there is a difference. I just was talking about the pants that the crotch rips out. It's true. I mean, they're crappy pants, but I've kind of got on the whole Wrangler thing. I really like Wrangler apparel. It's good stuff. And
yes, I like Wrangler stuff.
Yeah. And when you go to buying like cowboy hats, which a guy asked me today how many I had, and I think I counted 8, if I'm not mistaken. It took me a minute.
Wow.
I had to sit and count them. And I've got everything from cheap ones to, pretty nice ones that I think Mom bought me the pretty nice one because I'm too cheap to buy one. But anyways, and I figured out, okay, I can go buy the $50 cowboy hat from Tractor Supply, and it's a good hat. I mean, I still have the first one I bought. I still wear it.
Yeah.
It's actually back here. I just took it off to fit my headphones on. Or I can get a better quality hat that lasts better and will probably last longer, and I can pay 100, 110, 120 bucks for it. So I have come to realize, all right, if I want good quality stuff, if I want a real good Western style shirt, I'm going to buy a Wrangler. Or I'm going to buy, because I love blue jean material. So, buy like even the Dickies shirts, and they're like $20 a piece, which to me is like outrageous. Because I have bought those T-shirts in a pack, the colored T-shirts, because a lot of times, and you wear those, and then you realize you got to put it on one day, and it's like the size of a dish rag. You're like, oh, this old boy done shrunk up. Or you make the mistake of going swimming in it, and next thing you know, the neckline looks like something that Jessica Simpson wore back in the day. You're like, man, I'm a bit immodest.
That's just sexy right there.
My belly button's hanging out.
Now, I will say, when it comes to name brand, I will actually probably spend more money on my pants than I do like my shirts or anything else because, for one, I found that they last longer, and two, they are so much more comfortable.
Yeah, they are.
So that is why I usually will drop more money on my jeans. But like I used to spend big money on shirts and stuff, and I don't do that anymore on shirts. Every now and then I may pick up a nice one, but for the most part. But I've even gotten to the point though, and this is maybe this is where my Jew-like tendencies are coming out. Is I want to wear it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just have like a bunch of needless stuff that I never use. I want to actually like wear that out, and then when I need it, go buy it, because I found that I don't have so much buyer's remorse if I actually need that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny story. Talking about I spending big money on shirts. I used to spend a lot of money on shirts, especially when we lived down in Florida. Me and Mariah were making pretty good money down there. It was just me and her. We didn't hardly pay anything in rent. So, man, we would go to the mall, and I would drop. It was nothing. And I know this sounds like an exaggeration and whatever, but it's not. I would sometimes go and drop $200-$300 a weekend.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
At Buckle. And I bought this shirt, and I actually still have it. It's a pretty neat looking shirt. It's white, button down with like black, like what is it, like rhinestones maybe or whatever those are, on it. Fancy looking shirt. I paid, I think, $110 for just that shirt alone. Well, I was at church camp there in Ohio when it was still down there on the old campgrounds, and this guy was driving this golf cart up this hill, and I watched this happen, and I'm like, dude, it's too wet. I don't think you're going to get that golf cart up the hill. Well, he's going up the hill. Well, all of a sudden, it like starts like spinning out or whatever. And so I really don't know what all happened. He got off for something. Well, the golf cart gets away from him. And so he thinks that he's going to run behind the golf cart as it's running down the hill. And he's going to somehow stop it. Okay? Well, this golf cart literally just pushes him and runs him over and has got him trapped. And so,
why am I laughing?
Dude, you should have been there. And actually, my uncle was actually there, and he laughs about this story to this day because he actually watched this happen as well. I literally see this happen. He's trapped into the golf cart. I have my really nice shirt on, and I said, "Wait 1 minute, I'll be right there." And I unbuttoned my shirt and took it off before I would go help him. And so Mark, my uncle, he always said, he's like, you always know that Canaan's shirt is worth more than that man's life.
You're walking up there like, have you seen the freaking rhinestones on this thing?
Have you had to look at my bank account? This thing cost me a small fortune.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, wounds will heal back. This shirt won't. Oh, yeah.
Dude.
I remember me and Missy used to go on spells like that. We'd go to the mall, and we'd go to like Marshall's, something like that, where they always had the discount stuff. And
Oh yeah.
And then, of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
I'm so cheap that I then go to the discount section in the discount store at the same time. Like I would do a lot of the same thing. Walk out there and it's like, man, I just spent like $100,
Oh yeah.
which is,
Oh yeah.
I look back on it now and I don't really know what changed because we just basically quit going to the mall. And this was before COVID happened. We just kind of quit. And we used to go run to the mall, run around, go and all this stuff. And I enjoyed it. And I don't dislike it to this day, but we'd go see a movie or something like that. And now it's like, I'd rather just sit at home. I've got all kind of streaming services and stuff. I'd rather watch something on there. And I'd rather sit beside my wife on the couch and, we'll make something. She's a good cook. So,
Yeah. No, it's the same. I used to love going to the movies. Man, I used to go to the movies sometimes. Oh my goodness. Dude, it was nothing. Especially when we lived in Ohio. We would go, I don't know, once every other week, something like that,
Yeah, well, you guys had that really good place up there, like the five.
Yeah, we did, man. We actually just passed that place the other day called Movies 10, and it was $4 movies and popcorn and hot dogs.
Yeah, and like a whole pizza was like $5 too, and it was good pizza. It wasn't like they threw a frozen pizza in the microwave.
Yeah, it was really good pizza. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. That was a great spot.
Well, it's something that always annoyed me too. Like, not annoyed me, but scared the crap out of me, is when you're sitting in the back row, because that's usually the word, or you're really just sitting anywhere, but especially the back row is where this happens the most.
Yeah.
And your shoes kind of stick to the floor a little bit, and you're like, oh, what in the world is this?
Yeah,
what? Too scared to look.
Down on the floor?
Yeah. Everybody knows the stories of things that supposedly happen in movie theaters in the back rows.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, I can't look. I don't want to look. I got something here I want to get your take on. Everybody knows the Let's Go Brandon thing, right?
Yes.
You know about that. It's, which for those that don't know, which apparently all of our listeners that live under a rock, it's, this guy was, he was a NASCAR driver. His name was Brandon. He won the race. He was getting interviewed by a reporter. Everybody in the crowd was chanting F Joe Biden.
Yes.
And the lady,
he couldn't hear what was being actually said, though, could he?
I think anybody could hear. She was the one that said it.
Oh, she was the one that said it.
Yeah, the
Okay,
reporter.
gotcha.
But she worked for, a big news organization. You know how they handle that. And so she said, well, listen, you can hear them chanting, let's go Brandon. So, of course, then that's
where it came from.
Yeah, it's a clean way to say, basically, screw Joe Biden.
Yes.
And so that kind of leads me to this next topic. So there's a church in Texas. I think it is, what's the guy that writes the Blood Moon stuff and all that? John Hagee.
Oh, yes.
It's John Hagee's church. Hagee's usually very conservative, very Republican and all that. So it stands to reason his church would be that way. So he's got, I think, a mega church down there. Well, apparently I don't know if it was during the church service or whatever it was, the crowd starts chanting, let's go Brandon.
Oh my.
In the church.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I never really saw anything wrong with the saying. I mean, it's a clean way to say, I'm very displeased with the man that's in the White House.
Yes.
Yes. But I started seeing a lot of Christian hand wringing. You're like, oh my goodness. What have we done?
Gotcha.
This one guy here is another pastor. I think his name's Jeremy Coleman, and he was commenting on it because Fox reached out to him or something. And he said it was gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. And so I heard this, and then I started seeing some of the other, even people, Canaan, or the circles we grew up in, some of them being like, this should never be said by a Christian, let alone in church. And I honestly was kind of taken aback by it. I'm like, I don't understand what the problem is here, because it's the cleaned up version. I could stand up and holler, F Joe Biden.
Which I would love to do. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm being serious in a way, because like I agree with what you're saying. I could, it's a free country. If I want to, I can stand up and say F Joe Biden, which I would love to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have some respect for my fellow Christians, and and whatever. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to, if I want to, I'm going to chant, "Let's go, Brandon." I choose to take my language a different route.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't understand it.
Well, me and you kind of had this conversation at the beginning where we were talking about, all right, what defines, what is filthy? Now, obviously, I think we could probably say the F word's pretty.
Yeah, that's a more raunchy
Yeah,
one.
not exactly clean. So, I probably shouldn't, as a Christian, run around,
Yeah.
Here, man, have you read the Bible? And then follow up by,
F. Joe Biden. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
But at the same time, I don't get it. So, and I heard Alan Robertson, man, I'll get it out here soon. I heard him talking about this on their podcast on Unashamed, and he said that somebody came after him because he said freaking or something like that. And a couple of guys were talking about it. And I remember we used to hear in church canon, don't say gee whiz, don't say gosh, don't say what the heck, things like that.
Yes.
And so the criticism that was coming toward the Robertson guy was guys like, dude, we know what you mean when you say that, when you say freaking or whatever. It's like, that's a euphemism. And that's what these people are saying here. It's a euphemism, which I guess is means byword, I guess. That's a big word that I don't.
What?
Oh, boy. You caught me off guard with that. But anyways, so they're saying, you're basically saying the same thing and we know what you mean. And
Yes.
Alan, and I think Jace was talking about this too. He said, no, I chose to use that word instead of the actual word. It's a conscious decision. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yes.
If I meant the other word, I would have said that word.
Yes, absolutely.
So when it comes to Let's Go Brandon, I mean, we know what it stands for or what it replaces, but that's just it. It replaces something that's considered a vulgar term.
Absolutely. Besides, you could take that so far. Like you could, crap. Some people think the word crap is replacing the word, the S word. Well, in a way it is.
Yeah.
But you choose, for me anyway, I choose to use crap instead of the S word. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's the thing. It replaces. I've chose to replace it. Now, when you really get down
to clean my language up.
Yeah. When you really get down with it or down to it, I don't really see much wrong with certain words like that because to me, it's like,
no, I don't either. They have a meaning. To me, they have a meaning. That,
and they, like I've said before, the King James Version of the Bible talks about, some guy, and this is what it says, so don't get mad at me. It talks about somebody pissing against a wall.
Yes.
All right. So the translators that were translating the Holy Scriptures figured that's the word that fits because it means something. So then at what point does it become, oh, we don't like that. We can't use that word anymore. Well, why?
Yeah.
You know what makes it, what all of a sudden makes it a filthy word? Or what it stands for what? A body function you don't particularly care to be around, Yeah. I don't want somebody else, peeing on me neither. But at the same time, that doesn't make the word bad, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you.
I've heard so many words too, because I remember when I first heard that, Christians shouldn't say hell. And I think my grandma had said that. And I was like, ooh, well then preachers cuss all the time. And then of course it was explained to me. And so I've actually sat and thought about that one before. I'm like, why is it wrong to say hell? I don't have reverence for hell. Hell's a bad place. You know what I mean? It's not like not like the reverence I have for God, and it specifically says not to, take the Lord's name in vain. But I don't understand why we got to have this specific reverence for hell. Yeah, I don't want to go there, but by making light of it, does that mean that somehow it has more power over me? It's like I don't understand the reasoning here.
I'm with you. I have thought of that some myself, and never really could quite understand that. But it was just all we was just always driven in us. You never say that, like,
Yeah.
What the hell, or hell, or any of that. You didn't really talk about that much unless you thought somebody was going there. Then it was okay to say it.
Yeah. You'll burn in hell. That was okay.
Yeah, they're going to hell. They're going to hell. They got short hair. They're going to hell. They got pants on. They're going to hell. It's like they watch movies. They're going to hell. They listen to country music. They're going to hell. Hell, hell, hell.
Yeah.
It just, So it was fine to say hell as long as you could condemn people, but heaven forbid you use it in any other term.
Yeah. Well, and I was even. Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned it. Like even saying what the heck. Well, it's too close to saying hell. It's like, well.
Yeah.
Then what's close to saying heck?
What the hell? Yeah, it's like, oh, man.
Yeah, so many of those things. And don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for Christians to go out there and just start, cussing people up and down, obviously.
No.
But
no, I'm not saying that at all.
Just questions I'm kind of curious about. Because the Bible does mention that Christians aren't supposed to use filthy communication. But as it does with a lot of things in the Bible, it kind of stopped there and left us guessing. Which tends to be a theme on a lot of things. It's like, could you elaborate, please? Could we have, maybe could you write a second edition and fill in some gaps?
Absolutely. Could you maybe give us an instruction manual?
Yeah. Could you, have an updated release? But then too, you think about that. That just kind of leaves it. What I found through the Bible on certain things, especially in the gray areas. How do I want to say this? I've gotten to where I'm not quick to judge people that disagree with me on it, because I understand a lot of passages in Scripture where people could completely interpret it a different way. Growing up, we always heard about how Calvinists were, going to hell and preaching stuff that wasn't right. And I disagree with Calvinism, but they got some verses that do make you scratch your head. I'm like, whew. Well,
they do.
All right, I get it. I understand why you interpreted something a certain way. So I try not to be too hard on people these days.
I'm with you on that. Try to have mercy on people.
Back to what we were talking about then. What's your verdict on the whole Let's Go Brandon thing? Do you think, is it very Christian of a person to say it?
I honestly don't see a problem with it. Like, we've talked about it, and and my thing is they chose to clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that church would have been sitting there chanting F Joe Biden, then I'd have been like, oh my.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been a big fan of that.
Hey, I'm not your judge. I'm not going to judge you for it, but I would have to say that I wouldn't have been a part of that.
Yeah, I'd prefer not. Yeah.
I would prefer not to be part of that. But it goes with a lot of other things like we talked about. We could, because, we have free will, and if we wanted, we could say a lot of these other words, but we choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
We choose to clean it up.
Well, and there's another angle that a lot of the Christians were using, and they started quoting some of the verses in the New Testament where it talks about respecting the king and respecting those in authority over you and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, that's a good point. I mean, to respect, but there are times that I think you're all right to maybe push back a little bit.
I see what they're saying, and I'm with you. I agree that it is a good point, but would we be sitting in America right now if they would have done that back in the 1700s?
Oh man, that's a good. I have thought about that different times, because it says to obey the laws of the land and stuff like that in Scripture.
Yeah,
and it's like, well then, at what point do you not obey the laws of the land? At what point do you?
Yes.
It's a pretty good thought exercise. Yeah.
I think that's a whole nother topic for another time. But I mean, if you want to get real nitty gritty with it, I think that if you want to take it that way, you'd have to at least stop and think, well, if they would have been abiding by all the laws of the land, and they would have been, falling into authority of the, whatever, well, we wouldn't be where we're at right now.
Yeah. I think about it this way too. It talks about a king in the Bible because that's the kind of governing system that they had. Well, Joe Biden is not a king. Okay. Our governing system is basically set up to where he works for us, the entire body of the American people. And basically we sign a 4-year contract with him. And if we're displeased, At the end of 4 years, we choose either renew the contract for another 4 or we fire him. That's the way I look at it. So I think our governing system set up, it's like, yeah, he's the president, but he's not the king, man. He works for us, and I'm pretty sure if I want to give him some criticism, and I've chosen to clean it up, like you said, and not go the total screaming expletives or whatever you want to say at him. I've chosen to clean it up and show my displeasure. I don't really see an issue with that.
Well, and I'm kind of thinking out loud here. My thoughts on this as well is I do not agree with hardly anything Joe Biden does or stands for.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
And probably and probably one of the biggest things is I am not for abortion in any shape or form. So do I need to now fall under that and be like, well, he's the king, you know? He says it's all right, so I guess I might as well just, you know where I'm kind of coming from?
Yeah.
You know?
I do.
It's like, how far do we take this? This man may be our president right now. Excuse how I say this, but how much do we this man's? You know? I mean.
Well, you chose to clean it up there, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. How far does he go?
I'm serious. This man is definitely proven to be, but I wouldn't even go into all that. But as a Christian, you know, these Christian people, you know, they want to bring out this, you know, oh, well, you know, he's the king, he's in authority. So, okay. So if he told you to go have an abortion right now, you're going to go do that?
Well, and
no.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? You know, he's the authority over you. You know what I'm saying? Like
and their response would be you follow the law up until it tells you to break the commandments of God. That's what they would say. And yeah, obviously I agree with that, but I don't know then how far past that you still follow it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got somebody that, I mean, I have some very strong disagreements with the man's policies, and I think we can sit and look around right now at the stinking supply chain, the way that the economy's not exactly booming at the moment, just a list of other things that we can say, all right, there's reason for me not to agree with him.
Yeah.
So I just don't quite get where the lines to be drawn. And it'd be a neat kind of topic to hit one of these nights, do a little research on it and see what we can come up with. But as far as the being respectful to him, I don't think that let's go Brandon is a at least overly disrespectful thing to say. And I think, like I said, he's definitely not a king, and it's a good way to actually, in a more respectful way, to show your displeasure. So yeah, I don't really see a problem with it.
That's when you were talking about that, I was honestly thinking, I was like, honestly, that's probably more respectful than most things I've said about him between just me and my wife or me and you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's go Brandon's nice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a nice way of putting it. You know?
If you really want to push that too, Canaan, you can say, because a lot of people sit around, a lot of Christian people, and they'll be like, dude, that guy belongs at a nursing home. And which I think he probably does. But if you really wanted to push, be like, that's not very respectful. What would you do if I told your mom that she belongs in a nursing home? You know, we could push this thing as far as we wanted to push it.
You are saying that our good president is going to be needing a nursing home. How dare you? Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
To say that this man belongs in a nursing home. This man belongs in a funeral home. I'm in a nursing home.
Well, yeah, I just found that a little bit interesting. And honestly, I think sometimes Christians have a tendency to be sissies a little bit.
Yes. Oh, my. Can you believe? Let's go, Brandon. What? Oh, man.
Well, I think that does it, Canaan. I've enjoyed it.
I have too, man. It's been a lot of fun, man.
It's pretty good. All right.
Pretty good.
We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Hillbilly Broadcast. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you didn't and you really want to get us back, go to wherever you listen to this podcast and give us a 5-star review. That will drive me personally insane with anger. If you'd like to send us a voice message, you can go to anchor.fm/Phil Sparks, where you can also become a supporter of the show if that's something that you're into. If you would like to send us an email, you can send that to hillbillybroadcast@aol.com. That's right. We may or may not still be stuck in the early 2000s. You can also find Hillbilly Broadcast on Facebook, and I am on Twitter at the Phil Sparks. Again, thank you for listening. I love you. The good Lord loves you, and we'll see you next time.